From CBS 4, this is Haystack TV, powered by HaystackColorado.com. Finding reliable services can be like finding a needle in a haystack. With HaystackColorado.com, finding the needle just got a lot easier. Now, the host of Haystack TV, Chris Kane.
Today, hope in dealing with the debilitating condition known as tinnitus or tinnitus. Does this sound familiar? Does it drive you crazy? Are you at your wit's end and being told to live with it? There is help. The Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing Center was the first clinic in Colorado to begin using a new method of treatment called neuromonics. The clinic's doctors of audiology specialize in the treatment of tinnitus. They have 40 years combined experience, and they are both members of the American Academy of Audiology. Dr. Patty Kalmbach and Dr. Lisa Evans-Smith have been on the show before discussing the prevalence and causes of tinnitus or ringing in the ears. Now, today we're going to highlight a patient that you've had success with, and you've had to treat him in a number of different ways. So why don't you give us a little bit more information on this patient?
We're actually going to be focusing on Ralph, and he was in an automobile accident in 2007, suffered a concussion, and from that point on has suffered from severe debilitating tinnitus. And so he suffered with that for about 2 years, was referred to our clinic in 2009, and when we first evaluated Ralph, he said he was about 100% aware of his tinnitus, 100% disturbed by his tinnitus. We gave him what we call a tinnitus reaction questionnaire, which assesses how much does it bug him in his everyday life, and he scored about an 84, which is pretty high. So when we began treatment, we actually started him in the neuromonics tinnitus treatment, which we've talked about before. And about 8 months into the treatment, he was no longer 100% aware of his tinnitus, 100% disturbed. He was actually about 20% aware of his tinnitus and 0% disturbed. And then we continued on with his treatment up to about a year, and when he finally finished, he finished at 10% aware of his tinnitus, 0% disturbed. His reaction questionnaire had gone from an 84 down to a 9. So huge difference for him.
Those are big results.
Very big difference.
Well, let's listen to what Ralph has to say about his condition.
I had this terrible, sounded like a whole beehive in my head, and there was a queen bee in there with a stinger about that long, and she was headed right for me. Before I came to see Dr. Patty, I would literally look in the mirror and ask myself, you know, is this the day that I end it all? Because I had got to the point that I was ready to commit suicide. After being here and getting treatment, you know, I'm back ready to go again. I can wrestle a polar bear. Yeah, the queen bee is gone now. It might be a mosquito.
You know, it was very strong with him saying, I mean, to a point where he wanted to commit suicide. And from that ringing, that constant ringing that we heard at the beginning, I can only imagine that it would drive people crazy. Yeah. And not only did he have this ringing, but he also suffered from hearing loss. Is that right?
Yes. Ralph has a mid to high frequency, mild to severe hearing loss in both ears. So we treated him with hearing aids in both ears.
And that was it's a special hearing aid, though. It's not just like a common hearing aid.
Yeah, no, this is a very special hearing aid. This is a hearing aid that's made by Widex. We call it the Passion. It has two very distinct features. One is that it amplifies sound digitally. The other is that it has a sound generator built into it so that Ralph has a way of dealing with his tinnitus should it flare up. And we fit these to him about 8 months into his treatment, so we got the tinnitus well under control first.
Okay. Really, there is hope for people that are suffering, and that's the main message that you want everyone to know, that if you have this ringing, get some hope. If you know someone that has ringing, let them know that there's hope. So I'm going to tell our viewers how they can get a hold of you and about a special offer that you have for them. So thank you so much for sharing this information. If you're suffering from a ringing in the ears, call Colorado Tinnitus and Hearing. Call 303-534-0163 or visit the website helpforringing.com. The first 10 people who call and mention Haystack get $25 off the cost of a consultation and $200 toward the cost of treatment. The number again is 303-534-0163.